Hello, my friend, and welcome to Something for Everybody. My name is Aaron Machbitz. Today is a solo episode of the podcast where I'm discussing 10 things that require zero talent. So let's just jump right in. Number 1, being on time. Time is a limited resource and it's one of the most valuable resources we have. And so being on time is extremely important, but also it's extremely respectful. If we respect ourselves and we respect other people, then we will prioritize our time and how we spend it. And so this really being on time principle, one, if you say you're going to do something or you say you're going to be somewhere, respect that. Respect yourself, your time, and someone else's time. It really starts with that. But also being on time sort of trickles down into our core values. If our core values are mapped out and hammered down and we live by our first principles and we live by our core values of, honesty, hope, zest, resilience, consistency, whatever, then those core values fall in line really easily with being on time. Because if we say we're going to do something, we do it, right? What's the mark of a really elite performer in sort of any domain? Well, it's doing what they say they're going to do. Okay, I'm going to meet you at lunch at noon. Okay, I'm going to be there at 3. Okay, I'm going to show up at this time, right? Because they do what they say they're going to do, because they say yes to the things that line up with their core values. So being on time is not just like, hey, be on time. Yes, we can actually do that because, again, it requires zero talent. It requires a respect for yourself and for the other person, but it also makes you think about what are actually your core values. Okay, if I make my decisions through my core values, that's how I filter my thoughts and my actions. Am I going to say yes to this thing? Am I going to say no to this thing? If I say no, okay, that means it doesn't line up with my core values or my first principles. If I say yes, then it's easy for me to show up on time because I actually want to be there and I actually value who I'm meeting or what I'm meeting or what the topic is about or where I'm, going, right? I'm on time because I care about this thing. I respect myself. I respect the other people or person that I'm meeting. And I filtered this decision to say yes to do this thing through my core values. And so in the sports world, we sort of say if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late, right? If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. And usually in sports context, you show up way before sort of practice time to get your body loose. Game time is like there's so much pregame, right? So it's sort of ingrained in athletes that we will show up early for the most part, but at least on time because we respect that time. We respect the people's time, right? There's always a sort of punishment for showing up late. And so if we want to dominate the things that are inside of our control, which is going to be a theme throughout this episode, that's really what 10 things that require zero talent are. It's about dominating the things that are inside of our control. Sometimes our physical gifts and our talent and our genes and the things we are born with are not inside of our control. That just is what it is. Not all of us are going to be 6'8", 290 pounds and be able to go play tight end or go to the NBA. But what we can all dominate is the things that are inside of our control, which require zero talent, which are these things right here. And it starts with respecting your time and respecting other people's times by being able to filter those decisions of yes or no through your core values. And so being on time is that important number one marker of this 10 things that require zero talent. So again, that's number one, being on time. Number two is giving your best effort. I have defined success as giving your best effort because success can be inside of our control. We always think success is like outside of us, these external factors, right? It's not. It's inside of us. It's internal validation. It's us saying, yes, I did my best effort. Yes, success a lot of times is about outcomes and results, and life is about outcomes and results. That's very true. If you don't get the job done or don't make the play or don't have this presentation done, yes, you're not going to have the job or you're going to get fired or you're not going to get a play on the field. Yes, life is about outcomes and results. But if all we do is focus on those outcomes and results, we actually constrict our ability to play loose and free and actually express our best selves. And so if our marker of success is just saying, I'm going to give my best effort every chance that I have with whatever energy I brought. If my energy bar is at 50%, okay, I'm going to give all this energy. That's 50%. It's not 50% of your energy. That's all of the energy you have in the tank. Sometimes we're tired. We got kids. This happened. We didn't get a good night of sleep, yada, yada, yada. All of these things that are going to happen in life that are sort of uncontrollable, right? We can still give our best effort regardless of where our energy bar or our energy meter is at. But we're just making a commitment no matter what, that I have defined success as giving my best effort. Now, yes, I'm going to measure the outcome. I'm going to measure the result, of course, because then I can tweak my process, understand my systems a little bit better, and then I can move in the right direction, maybe get the outcome that I wanted to next time. But I know that the foundational layer of getting anything that I want in this world is giving my best effort over and over and over and over and over forever. And so if I define success as like every situation I go into, yeah, I'm going to be on time because that's number one. And then I'm going to give my best effort. More likely than not, you're going to get a lot better results than someone else because they haven't made that pre-commitment to say, I'm going to give my best effort. If you do all of these 10 things that require zero talent, you're leaps and bounds ahead of everyone else today because it's never been easier to stand apart from the pack. Okay. And so giving your best effort is one of those ways. So 1 was being on time, 2 was giving your best effort, and 3, excuse me, my eyes itchy. Okay, number 3, being kind. Being kind. Being kind is free. Being kind requires zero talent. Being kind just requires you to be kind. Everyone is going through something that you know nothing about. Everyone is going through something you know nothing about. You know that personally because you are going through something that no one knows anything about, that you're hiding, that you're avoiding, that you don't want to tell anyone because it's too painful, it's too hard, and you don't want people to look at you weird, and you don't want people to judge you for going through that thing or that whatever it is. Like you personally, you know personally inside that you are going through something that you have told no one about. The same person on the other side or in the other cubicle or in the other office or on the other side of the lunch table or in the classroom is happening the same thing with them. They don't want to tell anyone that their dad screamed at them last night and they feel like shit. Or their parents got into another argument and glasses were broken. Okay? Or their dog died, or their car's having issues and they can't fix it, or they just been having trouble getting out of bed. All of these sorts of things are going to happen to every person. You know that because you've gone through some of them and you're feeling them inside right now. So why not just make the decision that requires zero talent, zero effort? Well, it does require effort, excuse me. But we know that number 2 is giving our best effort, which leads to number 3 of being kind. We know that doesn't require talent. It requires no talent whatsoever. It doesn't require you to know the person or understand the person. It just requires you to be curious and seek to understand and understand that you want to lead with kindness because every person is battling inner demons that no one knows anything about. And that's important and very, very important. So that's number 3. And then we move on to number 4, which is having positive attitude. Having a positive attitude, or another way to put it is like bringing, high energy. I think both of these go together. If you look at some other types of lists of, 10 things that require zero talent, they may be different than mine. I've sort of mushed these two together of having a positive attitude and bringing high energy because these are just decisions. These are choices that we make. Yes, not every day is going to be perfect. Yes, not every day we're going to wake up and be like, whoa, yeah. Some days it's just like shit. Some days it sucks. Some days it's awful. Some days it's hard. Some days we wake up blah. Okay, but we have to have, again, a set of tools and protocols that allow us to try and reverse that, or allow us to try and wake up and be the best version of ourselves every single day. What are those protocols of eating well, moving well, sleeping well, and thinking well? We have to have those daily protocols and daily habits which allow us to give us the ability to show up with a positive energy, and high attitude, with positive attitude and high energy, with positive energy and high attitude, with positive attitude and high energy, right? That's what I'm doing right now. I feel like I'm bringing positive attitude. I'm bringing high energy because I absolutely love, recording these episodes. This is one of my favorite parts. This is why I do the podcast. But we have a decision to make. We can make a choice to bring positive attitude, to bring high energy. It's all a choice. Again, these things are things that require zero talent. They're also things that are fully in our control. Again, we can make a circle. We can make a circle on a sheet of paper. In that circle is our circle of influence. Why is it our circle of influence? Because it's actually things that we have influence or control over. And in that, I can say, giving my best effort, attitude, response, effort, attitude, response, effort. All of these things, these 10 things on this list can really be boiled down to 3 things: attitude, effort, response. I have control over my attitude, I have control over my effort, and I have control over how I respond. That is dominating the things that are inside of our control. That's why we wrote a circle and we put them inside of our circle of influence. Then all of those things that surround the circle are things that we don't have control over, the things we want to work on letting go of. And so it's our choice and our decision to bring that positive attitude and bring that high energy into the environment so we can uplift others around us. And we can only do that by focusing on our energy, our sleep, our self-care, things that we need to do on a day-to-day routine to allow us to show up with energy, with a great attitude of eating well, moving well, sleeping well, and thinking well. Those are the tools that we have to prioritize so that we have the ability to show up and make that choice to show up with a great attitude, with a positive attitude, and with high energy so that we can uplift all the other people around us. So being kind is easy. So giving our best effort is easy. And so being on time is a choice we also make based on all of these things. And so that's number 4. Then we move into number 5, which is being resilient. Being resilient. This is a choice. Resilient is not something that you're born with. Resiliency is not just sort of innate skill. Yes, some people are born a little more resilient with the innate skill, right? But everyone can train resiliency. It's another mental skill or psychological skill that we can develop over time to be more resilient. It doesn't require any sort of talent, doesn't require any sort of anything. It just requires a deliberate, persistent practice and getting in the reps of trying to be as resilient as possible. Understanding that, okay, if I've defined success as giving my best effort, okay, then I'm going to get knocked down. You see, I'm going to get punched in the face. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be challenges. Okay, but I've made that commitment. Okay, so how can I be resilient through these challenges? Well, I know that I gave my best effort, so I can check that off in the box. So I don't have to beat myself up or shit on myself about not giving my best effort. I just didn't get the outcome or result I wanted. Okay, so I know that obstacles make me stronger. That's the cornerstone of resilience. If we want to build resilience, we have to have that mantra circled into our life of obstacles make me stronger. Knowing that any obstacle, any adversity, any setback, any challenge that I come up against, it's going to eventually make me stronger. I'm going to learn from it, but I'm building my skill of resilience. So when all of these things happen in my life, these uncontrollable events, the things that I do have control over, then will move me forward. That's what becoming resilient is all about. And so again, it's a skill that we can acquire. It's a psychological skill. It's a mental skill that anyone can acquire. Yes, some people are going to innately be born with a little bit more resilience than others, but that doesn't mean you can't acquire the skill. It's not like you can grow to become 6'8". Again, I said that because it's a physical gift and some people are more physically gifted than others. But what's most important in life, what really draws out the best of us, what really makes great people great is their psychological skills, is their mental skills, is their ability to be resilient and overcome challenges. And that's a skill and a tool and a talent that you can start to possess, right? You can become a talented person of being resilient. You can become a skilled person of being resilient. That's what we need to think about, and that's what we need to focus on using the mantra, obstacles make me stronger. And then we move on to number 6, using good body language. Again, if we have this circle of influence, inside that circle of influence is attitude, effort, and response. Inside of those things is good body language. Like you want to walk tall, walk big, right? Let's just have it in a sports context. If someone makes an error on a baseball field and now all of a sudden their shoulders are slumped over and they're leaning over and they're crouched down and the pitcher looks at them and they're like, oh, you think he has confidence in that guy, that that guy is going to make the next play even though he just booted the last one? No, because his shoulders are slumped. He's got his head in the dirt and he's just moping around. Look at Superman. Superman walks around with his head up, with his shoulders back, standing as tall as shit, as big as he can possibly be. I'm not sure how he fits in those damn phone booths, right? But he uses great body language to emphasize his power, to emphasize his strength. Body language has a direct relationship to our confidence. Direct relationship. The taller you feel, the bigger you feel, your shoulders back, head up, chest up. Think like there's a string being pulled from the top of your head all the way up. There's just no way that you can't stand straight. You have that choice. You have that choice to use great body language, to influence your confidence, to influence the way you act. Confidence is intense trust in oneself. If you have intense trust in oneself, such as Superman does going into any environment, he trusts himself. That's why he has such great body language. It all stitches together. I want to be confident. Confidence is intense trust in oneself. Okay, how do I have that? Well, I stand tall, stand big, with my head up, shoulders back, chest up, ready for life, knowing that I can handle anything that comes at me. Again, look at a sports performer. The best performers in the world stand tall, stand big, and you can never tell what's really happening with them. Did they boot a ball? I don't know. They're still standing tall with their head up, their chest up, and their shoulders back, looking ready, looking for the next play, using their psychological skills and their mental skills to overcome the adversity that just happened. It's not like they don't go through adversity. They go through adversity almost every single play of the game. Something goes wrong. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. This doesn't happen. Same as life. We go through adversity all of the time. And so if we can hone in on the things that we do have control over, attitude, effort, response, body language, then we're more likely to overcome those challenges and setbacks just a little bit quicker heading into the next thing that happens in our life. And so it's very important to use that good body language. When you walk into a room, be confident, having trust in yourself, right? Have that trust in yourself to say, I'm going to stand tall, I'm going to be big, I'm going to have my shoulders up and my chest back, and I'm going to stand in my power. I'm going to do these things the way I want to, because it doesn't require any talent, but it does require a choice. And that's extremely important. And then we go to number 7, which is being coachable. Being like in any domain, be able to receive feedback. None of us are perfect. None of us do like everything right all the time. And what makes life great is that we're relational beings. What makes life great is that we're relational beings, is that we can get feedback and support and help from others who love us, who care about us, who want to see us succeed. And so why not be coachable? That's the greatest part about sports, is being around people who want to make you better. And if we can curate that in our life, or at least allow people to give us feedback and ask for feedback, and then take it regardless of if it's, opinionated or it's harsh or it's just really critiquing, right? We can filter that through our screen door and allow it to take the things that are going to help us and actually improve us, because we know that we're making the choice to be coachable. We're making the choice that we want to receive feedback because we want to get better. We want to improve because we want to blossom into the best version of ourselves. And the only way to do that is sort of seeing our blind spots from other people. So to be coachable, to ask for feedback and allow that feedback to make us better. That doesn't require any talent or any effort. It just requires a willingness to want to get better. It just requires a willingness to want to step out into the unknown and receive feedback or receive criticism or be coachable. For someone to tell you, hey, you didn't do this very well, but here's how you can do it better. And not taking those things personally, understanding that it's not a reflection of you as a person. It's just a reflection of some of the systems you might have created or some of the procedures or the processes that you went through. And here's how you can tweak them, improve them, iterate them, and be better moving forward. So if we make the ultimate decision that we want to receive feedback and we want to be coachable, then all the information we receive is just data. It's just data in our learning center, and we're computing it, we're filtering it, we're putting it through the screen, and then we're applying it to make ourselves better. And then that leads into number 8 of just doing a little extra. Doing a little extra. Again, it's so easy to get ahead of people nowadays. You just do a little extra. What does that mean? It can mean anything in sort of in the context of you and where you're at in your life. So think about your life, your job, you're in school, you're a parent, you're a mom, you do this, you do that, right? Whatever domain you're in, think about it like that. But if you think about it, I was related to sports because that's what I know the most, right? What's doing a little extra? Okay, I'm going to stay 30 minutes after practice and I'm going to work on my swing because I felt my back hip wasn't firing as well. Okay, so I'm going to work on it a little bit with my coach or my buddy, and I'm going to do a little bit extra. I'm not driving myself insane and working 75 hours every day and staying out 3 hours after practice and working into the middle of the night. Yes, sometimes that might be necessary, but I'm just doing that little bit of extra to reinforce what I learned that day to help me improve just a little bit faster. So I'm just doing a little bit extra, because if I go back to number 7 of being coachable, Yes, I'm coachable. I received the feedback. I received the information. I heard you. Now, the most important part from there is actually applying it to our game and actually applying it with action. How do I do that? Well, I have to go and do a little bit of extra work to apply those tactics, apply those principles, apply that feedback into my game. And it's not going to work right away because it's something new that I'm working on, because I'm trying to be coachable and receive that feedback. So I need to do a little extra work to allow that to integrate into my game so that during the next competition or performance or presentation or whatever it is, I'm able to apply that coaching tactic or that feedback into my game, and now I'm already that much better. So being coachable and doing a little bit extra go hand in hand. I mean, all of these go hand in hand. All of these are just choices and decisions that we can make every single day. All of these are inside of our circle of influence. All of these are things that we have full control over and that we can make a decision to do day in and day out. But you can boil it down to three things of attitude, effort, and response. And so always do a little bit extra. Do a little extra. Reinforce that behavior. Remember, that's like me. When you want to positively reinforce the behavior you just did, do a little bit extra. Here, do a little bit here. Be a little bit kinder. Be a little bit nicer. Listen a little bit more. Be a little more curious. Doing a little extra is not always about the action, but it's also about how you show up in the world. Do a little extra of the good stuff. Do a little extra of the stuff that's about love, that gives that love point 2.0. That's a ripple effect, of domino effect of love. Do that a little bit extra. Okay, that's very important. And then we go to number 9 of being prepared. Okay, being prepared is the number one way to have confidence heading into some sort of event. You look at Derek Jeter, Tom Brady, the most prepared athletes of all time. That's why they always showed up. That's why they always dominated the big games when the lights were on the brightest, because they treated it just as like another game. It wasn't the biggest game of their life. It wasn't the World Series or the Super Bowl. It was just another game, a game they've been playing their whole life because they've been so prepared, uber prepared, the most prepared you can possibly be heading into an event. They made those choices, and you can do that with pre-performance routines, with nighttime routines, with daytime routines, with just being prepared about stepping into the environment, whether it's prepared for a presentation or a sales call or a speak or a test, or being prepared to be a new parent, or being whatever the case may be, right? We can always prepare as much as possible. Now, life is going to throw us curveballs and U-turns and setbacks and challenges. So the preparedness only allows us to be prepared for as much as we know is coming, but then allows us also to adjust as life unfolds and we don't crumble under the pressure or the uncertainty or things like that. We know we're prepared. We have this foundational base that's prepared us for the unfolding environment, and then we go out and we just do the absolute best that we can. So if you want to be the best performer you can possibly be in the domain that you live in, being prepared is how you build that confidence. I talked about confidence being intense trust in oneself. Okay, there's 3 ways to build our confidence. We build our confidence through our previous successes. We build our confidence through being prepared for the competition. And we build our confidence through self-talk. Self-talk is the one that you use during the competition. We have to master our self-talk because our self-talk determines our confidence. But also in line with our self-talk is our body language. Our body language is great. We're sending signals to our brain that we feel good and we feel powerful, so that our self-talk will also be powerful, and that pushes us forward in a confident direction. But if we want to step on the field in the most confident way possible, being prepared is that. And we think about all of our previous successes that allow us to have this credible evidence that we can be prepared and we can do this thing, and that's how we show up day in and day out. You think of like the Chiefs, right? The Chiefs are now have so much credible evidence that they are the best team in the NFL, and they prepare the same every single week, knowing they can get the job done. And then they have that self-talk, that body language in the midst of competition. And so that's what being prepared sort of means in terms of showing up in the most confident way possible. And then number 10, to wrap all of these things up, to put the bow on these 10 things that require zero talent, we just have having a strong work ethic. That's number 10, having a strong work ethic. None of these things will matter if you don't actually do the work on a consistent basis, right? You can think about doing the thing. I've said this so many times in this podcast, but for all the new people listening on every single episode, this is for you, right? You can listen to the podcast, you can read the book, you can study the thing, you can meditate on the thing, you can think about the thing, you can journal the thing, you can do all of the things. But the only thing that's actually doing the thing is doing the thing. Action is the only thing. Action is the only thing that will actually move the needle forward, and that's about having a strong work ethic. That's about having a strong work ethic, actually putting in the time day in and day out to be where you want to be. Whoa. Thinking about, again, Back to the top. Success is giving my best effort. If giving my best effort is success, then I need to work hard, deliberately, persistently, and consistently, day in and day out until I have what I need by doing a little bit extra, being coachable, having great body language. But the foundational layer of anything great that you want in this world is hard work, mixed with working hard on our rest and recovery as well. That's why it's eating well, moving well, sleeping well, and thinking well, because we have to combine all of those aspects of being a full human being, dominate those fundamentals, be brilliant at the basics so that we can every day bring our best energy, get to the edge of our capacity, show up as our best selves, then recover and rest just as hard. But the foundational piece is having a strong work ethic, and then everything else is layered on top. And so those are those are just the 10 things that require zero talent. Let's go through them one more time. 1, being on time. 2, giving your best effort. 3, being kind. 4, having a positive attitude, bringing high energy. 5, being resilient. 6, using good body language. 7, being coachable. 8, doing a little extra. 9, being prepared. And 10, having a strong work ethic. Again, those things are what are inside your control. Remember, you have the circle of influence. You have a circle of influence, and you want to dominate what's inside that circle of influence, the things that you can control, the things that you have power over, which again, essentially is your attitude, your effort, and your response. And all 10 of those things that require zero talent are inside of that domain of attitude, effort, and response. So go and crush and dominate the things that are inside of your control, and then watch your life blossom and change and grow from there. And I can't wait to see it. So let me know what you think, and let me know what you thought of this episode. The best way to market this podcast, if you enjoy this episode at all, is just share it with a friend, send them the link, and then I appreciate it. Yeah, so we'll see you guys next time, and lots of love. Cheers. Thank you very much for tuning into that episode. And if you enjoyed it, click right here for another full-length episode of the podcast. And please don't forget to subscribe. But most importantly, above all else, please take good care of yourselves and others. And I'll see you next time. Lots of love. Cheers.